Something or other. Hey, everybody. Pretty sure it's Friday. I should probably consult my phone. It is Friday, right? I have made that mistake before, you know. It has happened. Hey, good morning, Ben Turner. VT Kitten, good to see you. Charlie Murphy. Like he's Big Ben, man. He is more reliable than Bruce Osmond, good to see you. Bayou Babe. That just sounds fun. LeBron, what's happening, man? E Moore. Taekwondo, good to see you. Mexican Messler, good to see you. Janine, Renee, Brownie Buttons, Atypical Paul, Susie Q, Michael J. Hey, Amanda Martin, Miss V, good to see you. Sarah Browett. Hey. All right, Mary Jones, let's fire this thing up. 7th, let's do this thing, eh? Jennifer Lemke, always a pleasure. Rick. So, Allison Metcalf Palumbo, good to see you. Good Lord, Johnny Scoville's here. I thought we were safe. Good morning, Soul Mataragas. Yeah, well, we got a lot more Epstein, but it's going to take a minute, man. This stuff is really unbelievable. Hey, Nick, I hope you're feeling better, man. You doing all right? This was an info dump in the so when you really see what they released, it's the discovery from the case. And I think this is the point I made yesterday, and I hope that everybody got it. When you're putting on a defense, you have to hand over, or you're putting on a prosecution, rather, you have to hand over the discovery to the defense. You got to give them everything you got so that they can prepare for what you're going to go to court on. You understand? Hippie chick, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. You have to, I love you too, bud. True story. You're not going to you want to muddy the waters. You want to confuse them as much as possible. So you're going to give them a list of all kinds of crap you have no intention of using. Like I remember in my bank robbery cases, when I got Abby Normal, good to see you. When I got the discovery in my case, they pulled up, I'm looking at pictures of $100 bills with serial numbers, right? From the haul that was taken away of all of the money, right? Well, that never happened, right? I'm looking down at this money going, they didn't get any of the money, right? I'm not even really, my case is so weird, but I was never in the bank I was accused of robbing. They figured out a way to send me to prison for a bunch of banks that I robbed by sending me to prison on a bank I didn't rob. That's really the way it went down. But I didn't rob the bank. So, and the kid that did rob it, he didn't get any money out of it anyway. He had blown every penny of this cash, like day one. So I don't even know where there was so much stuff in there that had nothing to do with me. There was something in there in the discovery about theft of livestock, right? It literally said that I had been at some point busted for theft of livestock. And I assure you, I was never arrested for stealing any animals. But all of this stuff just kind of gets dumped in on the discovery, this huge case of crap. They shouldn't do that, Lacey. And it's, they'll tell you it wasn't done intentionally. They'll tell you that they've got 600 cases they're working on, and one of their paralegals might have dropped something into the case or whatever. Entrapment is this. There are two things that people seem to get really confused about a lot, even especially convicts, believe it or not. Entrapment and double jeopardy are two concepts that, for whatever reason, convicts can't wrap their heads around. They can't. I was a law library guy inside a federal prison. I worked in a law library for a long time, and the dudes that would come in would go, "Bro, this is double jeopardy," and I'd be like, "How is it double jeopardy?" Well, because I already got charged for this. I'm like, "Yeah, you got charged, went to prison, got convicted, got out, caught a new case." No. So just real quick, because these ones seem odd. Shannon, you can't prove that. Shannon says, "I want my cow back." You can't prove I did that. So the truth of the matter is, with all of the with the double jeopardy stuff, it's pretty simple. Look, this is the easiest example of double jeopardy that I can give you. O.J. Simpson walks out of court, right? after being found not guilty. And they say, Juice, do you have any comment you want to make? And he walks up to the microphone and says, I killed the both of them. Have a great day. And walks off. Nothing can be done to ever try him again for that because he's already been tried for it. To try him again would be double jeopardy. And it can happen. A guy can walk out or a gal can walk out and say, I did it. How good is that, lawyer? Have a great day. Nothing you can do about it. Okay, that's double jeopardy. It does not cover anything else. It's that you cannot be charged twice for the same crime. Now, our government does some really janky crap that looks a lot like it. So when John Gotti was tried how many times in New York, John Gotti just kept winning, had a very good attorney, and the people that wanted to testify against him had a very odd way of unaliving themselves, right? Witnesses against John Gotti don't usually make it to trial, and that was what happened, right? So after Gotti goes in and they try him on a bunch of murders and a bunch of other stuff, and all of that stuff is there. He goes in, he fights it, he wins, he goes out, he gives him the big wave. The next day, they charge him with the exact same crime, but they call it Rico, right? Oh, no, it's not the same crime. No, now we're charging you as part of a recurring, criminal enterprise. It's the exact same thing. They created Rico to get him. They can BS you on everything else, but all they did was try to figure out a way so that they could try some people twice for the same crime. It's a law to get around double jeopardy. They say it's a way to take down a bunch of people all at once, and there's something to that. I mean, I was in prison when they charged one of the prison gangs, one of the biggest, most powerful prison gangs in the world, got charged in a Rico case, and hundreds of them, got convicted of like one murder. You could put 100 people on one body. See that? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That makes me really uncomfortable. There's no way 100 people had anything to do with killing somebody, right? One person might have ordered it. One person might have carried that out. A couple of people might have driven them there. 2 or 3 people could have stood guard. But there are people who are in their beds asleep at night that don't need to get RICO'd on that because they were stupid enough to join a gang. You follow me? Our government does some really janky things. But so that's double jeopardy, right? What was the other one I was trying to explain? Entrapment. Oddly enough, right before I went live, I was talking to my brother Johnny because he showed me a picture of the new DeLorean. Apparently, they are remaking the DeLorean. Why? Well, because the first one was excellent. I'm being facetious. The first one was not really a great car. Cool as hell to look at, but they were not very, they weren't practical. The engine was in the back and only had 6 cylinders. It was made by Renault. No offense to any of our French friends, but they're not making great motors to put in street cars. Make some decent race car motors, but they're not. Anyway, it was a piece of crap. It didn't go fast. It weighed a gazillion tons. It didn't handle well. In fact, Road and Track said it handled like a Volkswagen microbus. And when asked about it, John DeLorean said, the people that buy this car don't give a F about how it handles. They like the way it looks. That's what he said in the magazine. But funny thing happened to him. Right? Funny thing happened to him. A guy walks into his office and says, how's business? And he says, terrible. All right. This guy worked for General Motors for a very long time. And he designed cars that we are all really, really familiar with. Some of the most famous cars in the world, he designed, right? The Camaro. The Camaro was a car that he designed, right? It's gone pretty well. But he used to drive a Ferrari to work. And they really had a problem with that. And he got run out of there for being very flashy and not being willing to drive a American car to work at his American car company. When he started DeLorean motor cars, right, DMC Motorworks, they built them in Ireland, which was odd. Made shipping them to anywhere inconvenient, right? Normally you want to pick a place. A lot of Pontiacs too, correct? All of the different versions of all of that stuff. But this guy walks in and says to him, so how's business in the new DeLorean motor car? He says, I'm going to go tits up. Well, we're not doing well here at all. This is all bad. And the guy says, oh, I can get really cheap cocaine, right? No, DeLorean had snorted some of this stuff. He never sold it, right? Guy had never sold the stuff, never had any desire or thought of selling the stuff. But a criminal, guy with felonies, walked in at the behest of some at the behest of some agents. They went in and said to him, if you were to buy this at this price and you were to sell this at this price, you could probably save this business. When John DeLorean woke up that morning, he had no intention of committing a crime, right? None. A cop walked into his office, or a agent of a cop, right? A snitch, whatever, walks into his office, creates a crime for him to commit. Hey, bro, you realize you could get out of trouble if you had started to become a drug dealer. That's entrapment. If the law creates a crime for you to commit, it's entrapment. If they show up and you happen to be committing a crime, here's one that blows me away. How about when you go buy dope from a fake dope dealer who's a cop? That should be entrapment, right? But it's not. It really seems like it should be, but it's not. Because you showed up in that neighborhood with the intent to purchase drugs. Nobody came to your house and knocked on your window and said, yo, you ever smoke crack before? No, I don't. I don't smoke crack. I never have. Would you like to? Think about it, man. This stuff's pretty good stuff. Perhaps you should get involved in this crack game, right? No one's showing up at your house trying to sell you the stuff. You went to their neighborhood. You showed up. They call it a sting, but it's entrapment. I agree with you, Smitty. I mean, it's really a gray area, isn't it? It really is a gray area. But we will crap all over the law in this country if it means throwing some people into prison. Hey, Taekwondo, man, 3 weeks sober. And you said it right. You know what? I'll take credit for helping. But this is all you, man. This is all you. Good stuff, too. That's not easy. 3 weeks. Boy, time flies. Door-to-door crack salesman. That's new. Not a bad idea, though, right? I mean, it probably would have worked. We had door-to-door MDMA salespeople when I lived in Texas. I'm not kidding you. They would come to the door and give you free samples of the crap all the time. You throw them in a little bowl by the front door. They had multi-level marketing companies that were slinging ecstasy. No joke. It was on. It was a very odd time to be alive. LeBron, always good to see you here, man. LeBron and I met over on Instagram when I was doing a bunch of Instagram stuff. And then when I started the lifeboat, I really just did not have time to do any Instagram. 4 years sober, well played, Ashley and Charlie Defoe. One of my favorite skits is when they screw up William Defoe's name on Family Guy, and then they start screwing up all the other names. Absolutely kills me. Sorry. Yeah, that really is. Congratulations. That's really, really good stuff. So there you go, people. There's your prison lawyer lessons for the day. Can you address how different it is now on the boat when the chat moves so fast? You know what? I am of the firm belief that slowing the chat down, I get more complaints, believe it or not, when I slow it down than when I don't. And that's the problem. And I get a landslide of them. The people that complain do it on my email. The people that ask us to slow it down do it in the chat. And I'll be really honest with you. I find it a lot less annoying in the chat than I do in my emails. So I tend to defer to that. In general, one of the reasons that we've been putting up a crap load of content lately is because the more of it that I put up, the less of you show up for each one. And the slower the chat goes. Eventually you all catch them, which is nice, or at least see a chunk of you see them. I mean, they're getting views, but the more we spread out more content, the more that I can slow the down. V, is it 6 years? Holy hell, we've been up there a long time, haven't we? That's crazy. And a good question here, by the way. Kath, when are you putting new stuff out on your, if you haven't gone over and checked out Kathy's unbelievable musician. Unbelievable musician. Yeah, so I I love the growth. I love the growth. I really do. It's way better. We are going to be. This is one of those things that when you announce, people go crazy, hysterical. That some of you are so young. The only way you know about DeLorean is from the movie. Yeah, well, I'm quite old too. My godfather of sorts. What did you call Kurt?
No, godfather.
Well,
Close family friend.
a very close family friend of my dad's, and kind of somebody that I really bonded with as a kid. Had sort of a he gave me cars to take to the prom, and he was just very very good to me when I was a kid. But he had a Porsche, Mercedes Benz, and Audi dealership when I was a kid, and they picked up DeLorean. They got DeLorean as one of their cars, and he had it on the showroom floor for 4 months. I'm not kidding you. He called the company and said, "Get these things, come get them and get them off the showroom floor." Like they just had so many problems. Paul Penley working on 4 years sober. Do you know that there was a time here on the lifeboat when my other captain Mark was here with us, that we had a running total of how many years of sobriety that we had from all of the people on the boat, and it was great. We would have the millions of years or days rather sober. Does it count if it's sober from your big problem? One or still have a joint? Yeah, listen to me, man. Pay attention. This is huge, right? Everybody pay attention. This is huge. I promise you, this is huge. Here's what it comes down to, peoples. That's a great question, isn't it? Does that count? I smoked a couple of joints over the course of, does that count? If you're an alcoholic and you haven't had anything to drink in 25 years, you're sober. Hear me? Your drug of choice wasn't weed. I don't give a crap that you smoked a little weed. But truthfully, I mean, you, right? If your problem was with alcohol and you do not touch alcohol, then you know whether or not you're sober. 41 years. All right. I like it. Look, my problem is heroin, right? Opiates of any kind. If I take a Loratab, I'm not sober anymore, right? Doesn't have to be heroin. If I take a Loratab, I'm not sober anymore. I promise you. I promise you. If I got a if there's nothing that I can do. This is really a great question. I'm sorry. This is really a great question. They still do them, for the record. They just don't do them in small cities much anymore. But Rocky Horror still goes off at midnight in a lot of big cities. You can find a Rocky Horror show in the big ones usually. My brother drove a Bentley to the prom, borrowed from a company that fixed them. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, Rocky Horror is fabulous. Here's the other thing. This is another one that I really have a problem with. And this was a crew member of the lifeboat that hooked me up on this. Truthfully, changed my mind, changed my perspective on this completely. Let's say, believe it or not, I dressed up a couple of times and went to them in college. We used to go get pretty raw for that. Look at this. Look at this. Where's Johnny Scoville when you need him? I turned to hot pepper. And that's my thing now, because I watched Chase the Heat. From the first video, I think the world of Johnny. Great guy. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Have I seen the Bentley SUV? Yuck. That would be the Bentley what's it called? It starts with a B. It's the inside of it's really cool, right? I mean, the inside of that thing, they had to kill an entire herd of cows to make the inside of that. There is so much unbelievable leather on the inside of that Bentley. I couldn't do it. I would feel like such a douche. I'm sorry. I would have to rock the man bun. I'd have to vape. There's just something about Bentag. Somebody help me. Somebody. I cannot think of the name of it. $800,000 for that? Stop it. Do you mean this? Rick, that's $800K for that thing? That can't be real. It would have to come with Britney Spears in the passenger seat for 800 grand. It would have to come with Britney in the passenger seat, singing to me personally, for real. I get in the car or is she the one that sings Hit Me Baby One More Time? No, that's the other one. What do I drive? I drive a Prius. That's what I drive. I drive a Toyota Prius. Great gas mileage. But I think it is getting towards the end of the run. Made some pretty odd sounds the other day. So I think it's probably Hit Me Baby One More Time is Britney. Good. That's what I want. When I hit the button for the door to open, I want her to do the Hit Me Baby One More Time. Yeah, that's what I want. For 800 grand, that's how it would have to come. Seriously, can you possibly imagine dropping $800,000 on an SUV? I mean, what you would have to give me with that SUV? 800 grand. No. That's I fit in a Prius. I absolutely do. The other car is a 911, and I fit in that, and that's a really teeny car. Wow. You know what? I said I was going to do all these at the end, but I'm doing this one now because love the boat. Al man had cancer and was released from a UK prison with 3 months to live. He lived several years back in Libya. Money buys the best medicine. It's not only the vice presidents. Yeah, you know what? Interesting. Very, very interesting. And are you in are you in Switzerland? Where are you chiming in from? Because those are I think we're talking about Franks there, yeah? Wow. This is really odd. Check this out. Hey, Tommy, the lives of my family was shattered when our sweet mom fell in love with a bank robbing drug addict. Now I'm no bank robber, nor am I an addict. I want you to help me forgive him, not for him. Are they still together? I mean, I would love to hear more about this, Rhonda. That's odd. Did she yeah, this is a whole show. Did she fall in love with a guy that was incarcerated? Was he behind bars, or was this going on when he was running and gunning and robbing banks? I'm always shocked when people can pull off having a girlfriend and live that kind of crime. I'm telling you, that's a full-time gig. Like being a criminal is a full-time gig. Both deceased. Did they stay together until the end? Yeah, that's a tough story. It really is. Like my old man used to say, I have a chauffeur. He's called the bus driver. My brother's a bus driver. Surprised you didn't know that. Coltsby Colton. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Rhonda, it breaks my heart. It really does. And I'll tell you something. A lot of people, I get emails like this all the time from people whose lives were really adversely affected by a convict. And because she spent 18 months in prison, if I had to guess, I would say for bringing things in that he talked her into, yeah? I cannot begin to tell you how many times a convict marries somebody, and the first thing they do is get that person to mule things into prison. The story usually goes, I'm in trouble. I was the lies are usually like I was in the middle of doing something and it caused the dope dealer to get caught with all of his stash. They flushed the stuff. Now I'm in for 10 grand or I'm dead. That kind of thing. There's always some BS story that if they don't get money real quick, they're going to die. And there's no way to come up with that kind of cash. So they get the loved one to mule in some dope. And Rhonda says, yes, exactly. Yeah, checks out. I'm sorry about that, Rhonda. I really am. Here's what I will tell you, and I don't BS anybody, right? I never asked anybody to bring anything into me. Now, I was I was married to an attorney, so I don't know how fired up she would have been about the prospect had I asked, but I never would have. Um, and yeah, I, I take no pleasure in how I treated anybody when I was a bank robber. I promise. But and I'm not making excuses either. But I was kind of a loner, kind of a guy while I was doing this. Again, I'm blown away by people that like when you see movies and you watch movies like Heat, or you watch movies. I hope no, you cannot smoke cigs in prison. I mean, everybody does, but you can't. You have to you have to get them out of ashtrays, and you got to smuggle those in. A Marlboro is $25. They call it a Taylor, like it was tailor made for you, right? So with a filter on the end, those are called Taylors, and Taylors go for $25 a piece. Yeah. So you don't have a 2-pack a day habit. You feel me? Nobody in there is doing 2-packs a day. And Rhonda, I'm sorry, because I mean, I could probably tell you the entire story. I could probably tell you every single thing that happened to your mom because I watched this so many times. And it's, books have been written about this, right? Books have been written about this, but there is a draw to someone in a cage that can't be explained, right? The number of wildly intelligent women who have married people who were incarcerated, right? Lawyers. I married my attorney, right? I guarantee you everybody that ever met her is still scratching their head about that. The one of the Menendez brothers, right? The lawyer fell in love with him. There is something about the cage, right? I know that doesn't make sense, but there is something about the cage. There's something that very often it's people that have that desire to save someone, right? The people that are sort of in that mode anyway. They gravitate toward people that are on the inside. It's the same reason people like to go try to tame tigers. Yeah, you may be right. You may be right. You may be right. I don't know. What's funny? Just Being Me kind of looks like the name of that Bentley that I've not seen anybody put up for me yet. But it kind of looks like Just Being Me. The first time I saw that come up, I thought, hey, happy birthday to your daughter, Tiffany. You know what? Emma Blake says, I can see why women marry convicts. Everybody likes a bad boy. You know what? I think they like the concept of it. And you know why they do, truthfully? It's actually pretty damn funny. Sorry. That's too funny. Yeah, you know what, Jennifer? If you're just smuggling in cigarettes and he's got a couple of them, right? He's a CO. They're probably not going to do much. But the cop I punched in the face got caught. He was bringing in cell phones and meth, and they gave him 4 years in prison in the feds. He actually went to the same yard he was working on because they had to put him in the cheese factory. So he wasn't with the same inmates because the cheese factory is just one little unit. It's behind. It's like a prison unto itself, but it's on the same yard as the one in Phoenix. It's where really high profile guys go. They know while he's in the cage, he isn't cheating. Well, I mean, there's something to that too, right? Well, and it's kind of funny, but the reason that I put that on, I mean, that I put your comment up is because the fact that they're that unavailable is part of the draw. Do you understand? For real. Like, think of the pressure that you're not under, right? That person's never going to see you. You can represent yourself basically any way you want, right? I mean, till the day he walks out of prison, you get to do the same thing he does. He's telling you, what a great guy he is, and you're telling him that, you're whatever you want to tell him, right? There's a decent amount of fantasy that can go on when two people are kept from each other. I mean, yeah, you can go and you get visiting, but they're brief intervals. Well, there's a concept. Women are drawn to a bad boy who will be a good guy just for them. Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. Holy hell. I'm very familiar with NOW. Her mom was the first state convener for NOW, the National Organization for Women. And wow, yeah, that does add a whole new wrinkle to that. Rhonda, I'm not laughing at the situation. That just is a wow. I didn't see that coming. That one, that is a bit of a shocker. Wow, interesting. Interesting. Coltsby Colton says, a psychologist talked about this. Apparently, it's a genetic thing. People know a convict will do whatever it takes to take care of their own if they regularly break the law and go against society. Interesting. Interesting. I think that there may be something to that. There may be something to that. It's certainly a building full of alpha males, right? There aren't a whole lot of betas in there. There are some. There are some that get caught up, and they're usually miserable. I promise. They don't. You can, as soon as they walk in the door, you go, oh no, oh no. Are there prisons that allow conjugal visits? There are. I've never been at one, but there are prisons that allow conjugal visits. I love this. Damn, I love this. My other's keeper. First of all, how cool a name is that? Seriously, love the name. My husband and I are proof that people with serious mental illness can be in a good, healthy, long term relationship. 33 years and counting, diagnosed bipolar 23 years ago. Boy, I'll tell you what, I love that. I really do. I love that. You know, the effort that it takes on both parts for 33 years. That's fantastic, man. And I mean, with no man, I'm not talking about the bipolar thing. I'm just talking about marriage, right? I'm just talking about marriage. 33 years is so impressive. But to do it with mental illness is even more impressive, right? What a testament to you and to your husband and to the love the two of you share. That's beautiful, man. It really is. It's freaking beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Anka says, I came from Aaron, but now I'm watching regularly, especially when you are with Reese. I'm from the UK, so not always live. What sold me was when you said, Aaron is my guy. Loyalty is very important to me. It's important to me too. You know, it really is. It's important to me too. It is absolutely yeah, it's a huge part of my life. I think, you know what I think that's got a lot to do with, honestly? Probably the fact that I have a brother. You know what I mean? There's something different about I have two sisters, right? But I have a very different relationship with my brother than I have with my sisters. I have a my brother and I have a bond that is really odd. We would have been very good friends if we weren't related. You follow me? Like and there's a loyalty there that goes beyond. I remember an ex arguing with my brother, and I was kind of the one of the points of the argument. And I remember my brother was like, "Are you kidding? Like, you'll be gone this afternoon. If this is the way we're going with this, you want me to choose between you and family? Yeah, you're gone." Like, I honestly, it was that quick. And that's something that, yeah, I may not be good at a lot of other crap. I'm real good at loyal. Like, I do that really well. I think it was something that really got hammered into us by our dad. We do loyal good. Today is my first journal day. First thing I wrote is dedication to the lifeboat and captains for getting me to this moment. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, you are going to find that if you get that notebook really close to the bed, if you get that notebook right next to your alarm, right? So that when you get up in the morning, like, you don't even have to get out of bed, right? Just get to writing. And what you're going to find is that when you read the stuff you wrote in the afternoon, it's going to sound very much like a narrative of the day you had, because you're kind of pulling the nuggets of crap out of the mundane, right? During the day, something will happen. Johnny says something to really piss me off, and there's somebody there, and I can't deal with it at the time without making a scene. So instead, I just kind of swallow it. But you know what? I'm with these people for about 2 hours. And for a good hour, I'm just angry, right? I'm just mad. And then I kind of get over it. So that by the time we all leave, you know what? I don't even remember it anymore. I promise you that thing's in there, getting ready to wreak havoc at a later date. You follow me? We're supposed to just take stuff, grab it, send it on by. We're not supposed to go, ooh, I think I'll hold on to this one for later. Nothing good happens when we do that. Yeah? Make sense? So the stuff that we write down at the end of the day, we're looking for those little nuggets. And when you start to write out your day, you watch how many times you'll be like, oh, yeah, and I was doing, oh, you know what? Johnny said something really jacked up to me today, man. I almost forgot. Well, I almost forgot's a huge deal when you're in recovery. I almost forgot is all bad. You got me? It's all bad. You don't want to forget. Trust me. So that's what the narrative on the afternoon, or I'm sorry, the night journaling is a narrative of the day. That's really what it is. But the morning one doesn't make a lick of sense. It's a info dump. It's take all this and dump it onto that piece of paper. Sometimes it makes zero sense. I had a dream the other day, right? I had a dream the other day. And for whatever reason, me and a very close friend were fighting, right? Physically fighting. And by the way, I have never won a fist fight in a dream, ever. In fact, I've never landed a punch in a dream. My dreams, if there's a fight in my dream, the dream is me throwing punches that I cannot land. It is frustrating to beat hell. But I get my ass kicked in every dream I've ever had. I can never land a punch. So I was about 6 inches to the right or left. Oh, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Love the show and content, Tommy. Will you and Russ be doing a night yard Q&A session soon? You know what? We're due, aren't we? We are due, David. So yeah, I need to reach out to Russ. I know that December was just insane. Trying to put content up, but yeah, we're due. I'll make sure that we get that going. Yes is the answer to your question. It does get easier and easier, doesn't it? And I don't just mean the sobriety part of it, right? The sobriety part of it, you're going to get down in about 8-9 days. Right? That's all that takes. Then the stay in sober part is the rest of your life. But anger, joy, all of these things that we don't know how to do, all of that gets easier as we go. You know what I mean? All of it. Oh, well, I'm sure you are. Holy hell, man. All right, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to unpack this one here. Tommy, I had that same dream for years. In a fight, I can't land the punch. Yeah, I'll tell you something else that's really interesting, right? I'm a heroin addict. How many heroin dreams do you think I've had? Okay. In my life, 30 years, how many heroin dreams do you think I've had? I've never done heroin in a dream. I'll have it in my hand. I'll have the spoon like this, and I'll be cooking it. And Johnny will come in my dream and hit me on the back. Hey, what's going on? And I'll dump the stuff on the floor and be like, what are you doing? I'll get a needle and I'll draw the stuff up and the needle will plug. I'll have everything ready to go and the lighter won't go. There have been a billion ways that I have been unable to get high in my dreams. That's usually what lets me know it's a dream. No joke. Like I would be in prison having these dreams and I would go, oh, you know what? This is a dream. And that's usually right around the time you wake up, right? But no, I cannot get high in my dreams. And when I told one of my doctors this, she said to me, oh yeah, it's a 50-50 thing. She said, I hear this all the time. I hear it all the time. She said, there are people that can never get high in their dreams. She said, it's funnier when it's somebody who's an alcoholic. She said, because you would think it would be a whole lot easier to just drink something, right? To get that drink. She said, but same thing. And all the same kind of stories where it just doesn't make any sense, but something always screws it up. That's my stories. There is always something. You put the @ symbol in front of their name if you want to highlight somebody like that. I told you I didn't know that until just now. How was that? Well, happy to know that. Yeah, it's pretty odd, isn't it? But that's so I've never been able to get high in any of my own dreams, and I can't land the punch, which is really odd, but frustrating to beat hell. And that's really what it comes down to. I know that there's a really funny comment that I'm missing. Here it is. It's not funny, but this is a comment I wanted to be sure, right? So, we live and we learn. It's good to meet people, hanging out. Friends is fun. You know what? Dating is a good thing. Dating is a good thing. It really is, right? It is connection. It's connection at its best. However, it's also got the potential for the worst. Keep in mind, dating sucked when we were younger. We just didn't know it sucked, right? Because we hadn't done it. Dating sucked. It always has. It was no fun ever. You think it was. It was the first time we did all that. So we had so much dopamine because it was the first. The first time you do anything, you got enough dopamine to where you're up to your chin. That's reality. Okay, now try that at 50. Now you know what else you're going to do? You're going to compare them. And we've had conversations about this. What is comparison? All right, it's the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. And at 50, I promise you, like if we go out on a date, I'm probably comparing you to the lawyer and to Spanx Calhoun's mom, whether I want to or not. Right? How am I not going to? So there is a whole dynamic. What's a really good thing? A really, really good thing to do? Have that conversation with the person when you sit down. For real. You sit down on that first date and you go, holy hell, when was the last time you did one of these? Have you been doing this? You've been doing this steady all along or what? Because I haven't. And I don't know that I dug it when I was in the 80s, right? When I was doing this in the 1980s, I don't think I liked it. I'm a little freaked out by this, right? No one will do that. That's vulnerable, right? We don't want the person sitting across from us to think we're anything but, Superman, right? Or Wonder Woman or any of that. Show a little vulnerability. See what happens. I promise you, it'll pay off in the long run. My brother has done 5,000 videos. 5,000 videos and some change. I have not watched every video my brother has done. Would be impossible, right? It would be impossible. It would take me a very, very long time. And I don't have any desire to. I've been watching this dude my whole life. But the video that he did where he did plutonium the last time, that video is absolutely one of my favorites. In fact, and one of his auctions, I bought that bottle of plutonium in the auction because I was sickened by the fact that it was going to go somewhere else. And to the people that were bidding on it, I probably would have paid $1,000 for that thing. It was not going into someone else's hand. It just wasn't. But the show I think that is my favorite of his is when he ate all of those stupid gummy bears. It was like 8 or 9 bags of them. It was absolutely ridiculous. And especially if you've ever had one of these things, because they're god awful. They're hot as hell and they're just awful. I'm not a fan. And I'm not a fan of the fake flavor either. It's just disgusting. But he gargled with plutonium. He's done plutonium 3 times. He didn't dip something in it. He puts it into boiling water, brings that to a rolling boil, drinks it. You've never seen anything like it in your life. Absolutely insane. Neither here nor there. When he did the gummy bears, right? Let me explain to you something about challenges. See this hat? This is your bag of gummies or your hot sauce or your peppers. If it leaves the camera, it didn't happen. Because you could swap it out, you could do whatever. So in the process of beating a world's record, it literally went like this. It went like that. It was out of a camera view for about 1,000th of a second. And somebody called him on it. Somebody in the comment section said, hey, you do know that thing went out of frame. And I remember thinking, you know what? F you. You think I had time to swap that bag out? You watched me eat 7 of them. You don't think I did the 8th? You think I did something jinky in 1/1000th of a second? Johnny came out and went, yeah, you're right. I did. There's a reason we have rules like this. Granted, it's probably not this, right? It's not that. But there's a reason that rule is there. That to me is the coolest video that he has ever done in his life. For real. It was, you know what? I'll take it. I screwed up. And you know what? No, it's not justice. Honestly, if it were me, I just would have argued it. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't screw up. But sometimes the subtleties of being a human are really difficult things. And when you start hanging out with people who are 50, who've had 5 decades to iron that out, you may run into somebody who's got the kind of integrity that, but you could run into a scumbag just as easy. Guess how you're going to figure it out? Got news for you. It ain't going to be in the bedroom. I promise. That's not where you'll figure that out. Try it at a coffee shop. Try it sitting down across from one another or talking on the telephone. Get to know these people. Really figure it out. Oh, he has issues. He has issues. Tommy, I don't know how to get help for my son, but if I don't, he will die soon. He's been in and out of the joint for 15 years now, spent more in than out, checks out, since he's 15. He's 34 now. Meth and heroin. Is he in now or out now? Did she say that? He's 34 now. Okay, I need to know if he's in or out, Rosemary, and send me an email and put my son, the convict, right? My convicted son. Put that in the header, right, in the subject. Because here's the deal, Rosemary. If your boy would like to live a good life, we can help him. Honestly, this is the best time in the world to be a drug addict. I mean it. This is the best time in the world to be a drug addict. This is the first time in the world that we know it's a disease. We know how to treat it a little bit better. It's always going to be voodoo. It's always going to be, no matter what they get it to, we're always still going to have to do it up here, right? It's always going to have to be that magic where we just say, I'm not doing it anymore. And how we can look at somebody that just sets it down and walks away. And other people takes forever, right? And fights, man, it took me 3 decades. I work with people here that go, I'm done. Just walk away. God bless them. I'm happy as hell for him. But there's no magic bullet. There really isn't. But if he's willing to talk to me, Rosemary, I'll work with him one-on-one. Right? He doesn't like the life he's living, Rosemary. If you can get him on the phone, man, I promise you he hates the life he's living. People used to say to me or about me, oh no, Tommy loves it. He's never going to leave. That dude's just a junkie. Like, he digs it. He loves the life. I assure you, I never liked the life. But boy, oh boy, I got a lot of credit for it. Nobody likes the life. Nobody likes being addicted to heroin. I promise. Everybody I knew for 3 decades was a drug addict. Nobody likes being addicted to heroin. I promise you. Even when you got money, it sucks. Even if you got a kilo of heroin, it sucks. It just, yeah, thank you. It's awful. It's freaking awful. It really is. It's a terrible curse. Oh, it's a curse. Kristen, are you all right? What's up? What do we got? Okay, so yeah. Let's do this. And if he is in, right? If he is in, this is a great opportunity to write to him while he is in, because he's doing dope inside. I promise you he is. But he's buying papers, right? If he's on the inside, you don't buy bags, you buy papers, because it's literally a smear on a paper, right? They're so small that it's a lot easier to work with somebody who's coming out with a paper habit than it is with somebody that's going in with a bag habit. Paper, you're doing such a small amount of dope that if we could get him on the phone, I'm willing to talk to him. I'm willing to write to him, talk to him, do whatever. I enjoy working with people who are coming out. Honestly, I think that that's probably one of the greatest things I could do. So I love that any chance I can get. I've written to 3 people in prison since I started the boat, and they're all people, crew members, families. So I'm more than happy to do that. Oh no. Taekwondo, you're a lawyer? We were doing so good. I'm just kidding. I actually love lawyers. I really do. I don't like cops. I'm a big fan of lawyers. My whole life, lawyers have been trying to help me stay out of prison. I dig lawyers, right? I like them so much I married one. Oh man, that's so cool. Mom's first was an abusive, philandering Chunk of crap. I'll finish that sentence for you. Second was faithful and a great stepdad. Third, at age 74, is a late life love. She is so happy.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that cool as shit or what? How cool is that, man? That really is just awesome. That's awesome. That really is. That's awesome. I love lawyers too. My last one was a gem. My dad is a retired lawyer, and oh boy, they can be tough. Well, you know what? I have found this. I probably should have prefaced that. I love defense attorneys. That's what I should have said. I love defense attorneys. I don't love prosecutors. I don't love the people that are on the other side. But oh no, E Chick is also an attorney. Good Lord, they're everywhere. No, truthfully, Shakespeare had it wrong when he said, "Let's kill the lawyers first." But I do love that quote. Kristen says, my brother is a lawyer. I think he practiced by arguing with me. Yeah, being married to a defense attorney was really funny because we'd be in the middle of an argument and she would ask something, you know what I mean? Like, so you're saying you didn't put this on the floor? No, I did put that there. All right, nothing further. And I'd be like, what? No, you can't do the nothing further thing. Like, I'm not, I said nothing further. I'd be like, damn. And then you start falling for it. You're like, all right. Start thinking of your rebuttal. Good one. Good question. Tommy, about addiction and thinking, what is best for parents or grandparents that they can support our younger generation that would help them steer away from the path of addiction? Here's my advice because we got 8 minutes, right? Because this is a really long answer that could take 3 hours. But here's what it comes down to. We started out for a very long time with the concept of if we lie to our kids about how bad drugs are, if we make them so bad that they think if you just look at them, you're going to die, right? All you got to do is look at a joint and it's going to kill you. That has been our approach. We've made it into a boogeyman that doesn't exist. And then what happens is kids figure out that we're full of crap. And about the time they figure out we're full of crap, they start figuring out that other things we told them are probably lies. Like the real stuff. Like 2 grams of cocaine can kill a person. Like fentanyl is deadly, right? Well, they lied to us about weed, right? Weed ain't killing anybody. How bad can this fentanyl crap be? Don't ever lie to your kids or grandkids. Tell them the truth. Is weed going to kill me? No, it's not. It's not going to kill you. It's not a threat to your life in any way, shape, or form. It's not. It could steal your ambition, right? It could sit you on the couch. It could put you in grandma's basement at 55 playing Super Nintendo and doing nothing. That's the danger of that drug. Be honest with your kids about every single drug. Talk to them about them. Not just say no. Don't do drugs, right? Don't do drugs. I was showed this video. Growing up, I was shown this video in all sincerity, right? No joke. Reefer Madness was shown to me as if it was real. How about that? So the first thing I ever saw that was telling me about drugs, about weed, about anything was Reefer Madness. I believed, right, for about 25 minutes that that's what weed did. And then my friend Lurch started smoking it every day, right? He had scored some of it from a family member, actually, that they didn't know he had. But he's in there every day smoking this stuff. And I'm watching him. And you know what? He didn't go crazy. He didn't do any of the things they said were going to happen. If you think I'm kidding, but I promise you that when I got the first shot of doing cocaine, I thought to myself, well, they showed me that video about the cocaine fiend, which, by the way, is made by the same people that made Reefer Madness. And I went, they're full of crap. I ain't worried about this stuff. Line one out, make it that long and that wide. They're lying to me. I'm not worried about this stuff. I'm not. Line it out. We used to do maze races. Remember that? Maze races. Take a big old pile of blow, like an ounce of it, and make a square that goes to the middle. High five and to see who could do the longest one. Because we just didn't think they could kill you. Right? We just thought you just keep getting higher. And then Len Bias, right? A kid that got recruited to play ball at Boston. He was going to be a Boston Celtic and signed his contract, got a ton of money, and then blew up his heart doing cocaine. And I want to tell you something. We were done doing maze races. Right? Now the truth was right there. All the BS that they had told us, that didn't matter. This dude was a stud, right? This dude was 22, yoked up, just a handsome, big, strapping, tough American man. And it dropped him dead. I promise you, we got scared of cocaine. I mean, we're still doing it, but we weren't doing it the same way. And if your kids respect everything and are afraid that it can kill them, then maybe their experimentation won't be such a big deal because they're going to experiment, people, right? I don't want my daughter having sex with anybody, right? I tell her, please wait until you're married, right? Abstinence. Same with Calhoun. I would like you to be abstinent until you get married. And I think that in the long run, that would probably actually make you happy, maybe even happier. But you know what? It's not going to happen. So I'm also going to tell them about condoms, birth control, all kinds of other stuff. I'm going to preach abstinence. I'm going to teach condoms, right? So with kids, I'm going to teach abstinence, right? Or preach abstinence, but I'm going to teach drugs. My kids know about drugs. They know what every drug does, right? They know what the dangers of every drug is. They know why dad does not want them doing any drugs today, why it was different 10 years ago, why it was way different 20 years ago, how everything on the market today is being cut with fentanyl, right? And that nitazines, which are all 50 states have had a bust, nits are everywhere, and they're stronger than fent, right? Sit down and have an intelligent conversation. Go back and watch the video that I did with my daughter, who had just graduated. She was a freshman in college. And I said to her, how did they talk to you about fentanyl in school? Was it teachers? Was it, did they bring in cops, coaches? Who talked to you about fentanyl in high school? And she said, Dad, you were the first person to ever talk to me about fentanyl. She was in California, ground zero for where all of this stuff is, right? And nope, they didn't talk to her about it. They didn't bring in anybody to talk to her about it in high school. So if you're not doing it, don't think they are. And if you go, well, DARE does it, DARE's gone. You know that, right? DARE's gone. The government pulled all the funding. They won't put it in any school. As it turns out, it's not a good thing to have people come in and tell the kids, if your parents are doing drugs, call the police and tell them. Do you know that was part of the DARE crap? That the best thing you could do for them would be to help them, right? Tell the police. Good God, man. What are we, Russia? What are we, China? Man, that's just jacked, isn't it? It's worth checking out. It really is worth checking out and looking at the stuff I did. It's astounding. It's astounding that, and let's say we do, because most schools don't teach it, period. Most don't teach it. But if they do, who's teaching it? Cops? They're bringing cops, teachers, right? I don't know. When you were 18 or 17 or 16, were you fond of cops or teachers? Because there were two people I wasn't listening to in my teens. Cops and teachers, high on those lists. I didn't want to have anything to do with either of them. You know what? Here, R. Hester, I love the idea of you all remaining as anonymous as you want to be, right? Mara, even if I read your comment out loud, I will start an absolute crap storm. Rutland. But I will tell you this. We're not teaching drugs enough, right? And I know you're not hating on it. I'm not either. But boy, oh boy, it's controversial as hell. I wish the entire world was as pissed off about drugs as they are about gender. Boy, we would be in good shape. Right? If the entire world cared as much about our kids not doing dope as they did being able to choose whether or not they were a boy or a girl, we'd be killing it. And I'm not hating on that either. I just wish that we could get to that point. I wish we could get that kind of momentum behind us, right? Because there's not much I wouldn't do to get that kind of stuff. Thank you, hippie chick. All right. That does bring us to the top of the hour. And you know what? Boy, I got a lot of stuff to do today. And I'm glad that a lot of you agree. If I offended anybody, you know what? I'm that guy. I really am. That's that. All right. I am Tommy Scoble. And you know what this is? This is a diva in a basket. He really is. You know, it's really kind of funny. Have you considered going to schools to talk about drugs and or prison? You would be good at it. What do you think? This started that way. The entire dream of what the lifeboat was that. That's what I was going to be doing. The entire time I was in prison, that was the plan. And then I was on probation. I couldn't go state to state. I couldn't do anything. So we started up this little channel to as a concept, right, to see what would happen with the whole, connection and giving people the ability to be anonymous and come here and do all of that, I think was kind of a big deal, right? So we did that, and it is, but I'm going to be back in there, I promise you. Having to do heroin sucks, but when the medical community abandons you, yeah. Love from Rachel and Michael. And I'm an attorney's kid. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing worse. And it's the truth, right? That's what happened. They kick you out on the street and your medicine, you can't go buy your medicine. So you're addicted to oxys. For all of you that have never been addicted to a painkiller, there's not an illegal pain medicine guy on every street corner ready to sell you pills. They're hard to procure, right? They really are. Pills are hard to come by. Somebody has to write a fake prescription, right? There is a whole process. Makes them very expensive, right? There is just not the availability you think. Take this from a guy who spent 30 years as a degenerate junkie, drug addict. Pills, even when I had a bulletproof connection, a woman that owned a pharmacy was my connection. Still hit or miss, right? Heroin you could get every single day. You never have a problem. They'll bring it to your front door. And this, again, I want to hit one more time because this is really huge. It really is. It's huge. People, there's a lot going on in this world. You know, I got a couple of messages of people that said, you know, you help push conspiracy theories. Well, the other option is burying your head in the sand. Honestly, I've seen too many things to think that conspiracy theories are all conspiracy theories, right? I think I've told the story, but I spent an entire night in Oklahoma City because planes leave all night long, right? They don't lock the cell doors. You can come and go as you want, right? You can come and go as you want. It is no big deal. The cell doors are not locked. So I spent an entire night with a guy who was in there because of what happened at Benghazi. Swear to you. So I was paperwork. This cat was in there and he told me stories. Let me tell you something, people. We don't have any idea as citizens and take it from a guy that ran a publicly traded company. Nobody in America has a clue what's going on in America. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. Just the crap I got away with in the stock market was, I was crookeder there than I was as a bank robber. And that's the truth. Lisa Trimble, you are an absolute angel. I cannot believe how supportive you have been of the boat. God bless you. R. Swain, thank you. Not an addict. Oh, wow. That's a tough. Oh my goodness. If you're not familiar with that, people, if it's real, it's not a conspiracy. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not a theory. It could be a conspiracy, but it's not a theory. It becomes reality, right? Conspiracy reality. I guess maybe that would be the good one. But listen, I love you all. I'm going to be back today. If it isn't me, it's going to be Spanx Calhoun and Cedar. But we are going to be training on the Discord server today. You know why? Because connection is the most important thing, eh? We're going to make it a whole lot easier to connect. Spanx Calhoun, where are you at? I was pretty sure he was here. There
right
he is.
here.
What do you say, Spanky?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Look at this. Oh, man, don't
Um,
do that. No one knew you were late, man. I never would have outed you. I'm Dad.
Well, I'm
Hey,
honest.
look.
So
No,
yeah,
you're honest to a fault. I love that. You
we're
feeling better
thinking
today?
a little bit after noon. My sister and I are gonna get on this platform and talk about the Discord server. We'll probably
A
pull it
little
up at
closer to the
same
mic,
time.
Calhoun.
What?
Get a little closer to your microphone, bub.
Yeah, around noon, maybe a little after noon, 12:30 or something. We're gonna get together and stream it, so we can answer questions and walk people through using it, if you need help. So that should be great. I hope to see all of you there. And I look forward to this Discord server being a part of the lifeboat.
Yeah, I'm fired up about that. Maxine, you were scared of YouTube once too, aren't you? Seriously, think about it. Think about all of the things that you've been scared of over the course of your life. Do you remember the stick shift? Huh? Remember the clutch? And now you can drive a stick shift with your knees, right? Right? Talking on a phone, texting somebody, doing all of that crap. So, hate is a strong word. I hate Discord. Well, you know what, Darcy? We'll never force you there. I promise. We force no one anywhere.
Yeah, you don't have to do it
You
by any
certainly
means.
do not have to do anything you do not want to do. But this is going to be, yes, Mara, it's going to be right here. But this is going to be one-stop shopping for anything that that's hurting, right? Anything that you need connection on, anything that you need to talk about, this will be the spot. It's going to be right there on that Discord server. And you know what? To say I hate Discord, what you mean is you hate whoever owned that Discord, right? Every Discord server is so uniquely put together by whoever, right? This Discord server is going to be Tommy Scoville. That's what this Discord server is going to be. This is going to be me, right? How I envision help for everybody that could ever need it, from drugs or trauma. I don't think this is hateable, but I could be wrong. We'll see. All right, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you, Calhoun. Big love.